Hi students, in the last video I said today I will teach about carbohydrates and now I am going to teach you carbohydrates. Come, let's go to lesson. Here students, see, this is the most abundant organic compound on earth. Here, what is the most abundant organic compound on earth? Carbohydrate. They are produced during the photosynthesis of green plants. When they are produced during the photosynthesis of green plants. Potato, sweet potato, grains, sugar flour are some of the examples for foods which contain carbohydrates. In the exam, they would ask you, say some examples for the food that contain carbohydrate, and then you should answer these foods or any other foods that contain carbohydrates. Okay, now let's go to the composition. That means the main or element that are present in carbohydrate. Do you know what is the main element in carbohydrates? Here see students, the main element composition of carbohydrate is carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. In this, hydrogen and oxygen combine in 2:1 ratio. In what ratio? 2:1 ratio. Okay? Here see students, the common molecular formula is CxH2OY. What is the common molecular formula of carbohydrate? CxH2O in bracket. After bracket you must put Y. Okay? Here we see carbohydrates can be classified into 3 groups as below according to the way they are formed. Okay? Carbohydrates can be classified into 3 groups. First is monosaccharides, second disaccharide, and third is polysaccharides. Okay, first is monosaccharide, second is disaccharide, and third is polysaccharide. Here students, see, monosaccharides molecular formula is C6H12O6. The examples for monosaccharides are glucose, fructose and galactose. Glucose, fructose and galactose. Here for disaccharide, the molecular formula is C12H22O11. C12H22O11. The examples are maltose, sucrose, lactose. Maltose, sucrose, lactose. Polysaccharides. The polysaccharides molecular formula is C6H10O5N. Starch, cellulose and glycogen comes under polysaccharides. Starch, cellulose and glycogen. Now students, let's move to monosaccharides. Okay? Students, now see, monosaccharide is the structural unit of carbohydrates. Monosaccharide is the structural unit of carbohydrates. They are commonly known as simple sugars. They are commonly known as simple sugars. They are crystal shaped, generally sweet and water soluble molecules. Monosaccharides are crystal shaped, generally sweet and water soluble molecules. Glucose, fructose and galactose. Glucose, fructose and galactose. Already we have seen this. The monosaccharides examples are glucose, fructose and galactose. Okay? Now we will see the characters of monosaccharides in the below table. Okay students? Here glucose. The location in glucose in ripened fruits, bee honey. Glucose is present in ripened fruits and bee honey. Okay? Fructose. Fructose is present in ripened fruits, bee honey, pumpkin, carrots. Glucose is present in ripened fruits, bee honey. Fructose is present in ripened fruits, bee honey, pumpkin, and carrots. Galactose. Galactose is present in dairy products. Dairy products mean milk products. Okay, the other facts we see for glucose is the end product during hydrolysis of all starchy food is glucose. The end product during hydrolysis of all starchy food is glucose. This glucose is absorbed in blood. This glucose is absorbed in blood. Plants produce glucose during photosynthesis. Plants produce glucose during photosynthesis. Energy is released during breakdown of glucose in cellular respiration. Energy is released during breakdown of glucose in cellular respiration. Note in fructose we see fructose is known as fruit sugar. Fructose is known as fruit sugar. Fructose is formed during ripening of fruits. You see fructose is formed during ripening of fruits. We are in ripening of fruits. Fructose is the sweetest sugar. Fructose is the sweetest sugar. In galactose we see the end product during hydrolysis of lactose. The end product during hydrolysis of lactose. No sweet taste. No sweet taste. Now students, we'll see about disaccharides. What do you mean by disaccharide? Two monosaccharides join to form a disaccharide. Two monosaccharides join to form a disaccharide. During this process, water molecule is released. During this process, water molecule is released. In the same way, relevant monosaccharides can be obtained by hydrolyzing disaccharides. Disaccharides are sweet, water-soluble crystals. Disaccharides are sweet and water-soluble crystals. Monosaccharide and monosaccharide, that means two monosaccharides join to form disaccharide plus water. The molecular formula 2C6H12O6 join to form C12H22O11 plus water H2O. Maltose, sucrose and lactose are examples for disaccharides. Already we have seen above. Maltose, sucrose and lactose are examples for disaccharides. Now we will see the characters of disaccharides in the below table. Here, now we see maltose is present in germinating seeds. Maltose is present in germinating seeds. Two glucose molecules forms a maltose molecule. Glucose plus glucose gives maltose plus water. We see in disaccharides there will be a water molecule. Okay? Now we see sucrose. The sucrose is present in white and brown sugar, sugar cane and beet in some fruits, phylum sap in trees. Sucrose is present in white and brown sugar, sugar cane and beet, some fruits, phylum sap in trees. Union of a glucose molecule with a fructose molecule forms a sucrose molecule. Glucose molecule with a fructose molecule forms a sucrose molecule. Here we see an equation here. Glucose plus fructose gives sucrose plus water. Glucose plus fructose gives sucrose plus water. Here we see glucose plus glucose gives maltose plus water. In lactose, lactose is present in dairy products. That means milk-based products. Union of a glucose molecule with a galactose molecule forms a lactose molecule. Union of glucose molecule with a galactose molecule forms a lactose molecule. Galactose plus glucose gives lactose plus water. Galactose plus glucose gives lactose plus water. Here we see lactose is the only sugar that is absent in plants. No sweet as sucrose. The percentage of lactose in cow's milk according to the composition is 4% to 6%, and in human milk 6% to 7%. This section can be asked to you in MCQ questions in the exam. So please revise this again. Now students will see polysaccharides. What is polysaccharide? Do you know that? Now I say polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule. Polymerization of a large number of monosaccharides form a polysaccharide molecule. Hydrolysis of polysaccharide results relevant monosaccharides. Polysaccharides are insoluble in normal water. Polysaccharides are insoluble in normal water. They are not crystals. They are not crystals. Here we can see some examples for polysaccharide. The examples are cellulose, starch and glycogen. The examples are cellulose, starch and glycogen. Glycogen is glucose, but their properties are different according to the number of glucose molecules and how they are bound with each other. Not only glycogen is glucose, cellulose, starch also glucose, but they are different in properties with the bound each other. Okay, now we can see the characteristics of polysaccharides in the below chart. Here see cellulose. Cellulose is present in cell wall of plant cell in fibers. You already know that cellulose is present in cell wall in fibers. It is not digested in human digestive system, but it helps to avoid constipation. Do you know that eating fiber foods avoid constipation? Next, starch. Starch is present in grains, yams, jack, breadfruit. The type of carbohydrate that stores in plants is starch. The type of carbohydrate that stores in plant is starch. Next is glycogen. Glycogen is located in animal liver and muscles. Glycogen is present in animal liver and muscles. The type of carbohydrates that stores in animal body is glycogen. The type of carbohydrate that stores in animal body is glycogen, and the type of carbohydrate that stores in plant is starch. In plant is starch and in animal body is glycogen. Don't forget this, students. In plants is starch and in animal body is glycogen. Here see, here is a picture. This they would ask you in an exam to draw this. This is the structure of a glucose molecule. Okay, this is the structure of a glucose molecule. Now we will see significance of carbohydrates. Now we will see the significance of carbohydrates. The first is as an energy source. The main source to obtain energy for the activities of organism is the carbohydrate. The monosaccharide produced due to hydrolysis of those compounds release energy. You know that for all the organisms, for their energy, they need carbohydrate. And the significance of carbohydrate, the next we see is it acts as a storage compound. It acts as a storage compound. Next, as a structural component in plant cell wall. As a structural component in plant cell wall. As a constituent of nucleic acid. As a constituent of nucleic acid. Now, we will see some tests to identify carbohydrates. The below mentioned tests can be conducted to test starch, monosaccharides and disaccharides, which are some of the identified carbohydrates in foods. First, we'll see starch test. Small amount of food is obtained and grind well in water. A drop of iodine solution is added to the above solution. First, we must grind a food in water and then add a drop of iodine solution, and then it turns to purplish blue color, so that we can say that food contains starch. This is known as starch test. And next we can see the test for glucose. In test for glucose, we must get a solution of glucose in a test tube. Then add some drop of Benedict solution in the Benedict solution, and we must immerse it in a water bath and heat it. Then we can observe the color changes as blue, then green yellow, orange, and then brick red precipitate. Now we can see the test for sucrose. Here in test for sucrose, first a sucrose solution is obtained in a test tube. Then few drops of Benedict solution is added to it. The test tube is immersed in a water bath and heated, but there won't be any color change. After, few drops of diluted sulfuric acid is added to a freshly prepared sugar solution and heated. Next, few drops of Benedict solution is added to it, and then we can observe a color change as blue, then green yellow, orange, and then brick red precipitates, as the color for the glucose and sucrose are same. Students, the next section, proteins, will be taught in the next video. Now, bye for now. Thank you. If you like this video, like and share your friends, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. Bye bye.